Great, Emile. Your first London Marathon, what are you kind of expecting when you kind of line up on the start line, and how's the journey been for you, from when you started out in the sport? Did you ever imagine that, you'd be doing a marathon at the age that you're at the minute as well?
Yeah, I think I definitely could have imagined doing marathon. It's always like something I've felt sort of an affinity with and felt like it was where I belonged in the marathon. I didn't know exactly when and where it was going to be, but it's nice that it's London this weekend. And yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't really focused on trying to be a professional. I'd be lined up at London Marathon with big aspirations. I was more focused on the next year or the next race and trying to get an England vest or get a Yorkshire vest. That was more my ambition at the time.
How do you reflect on the journey that you've had in the sport so far? Of course, you recently broke a 30-year-old British and European 10-mile record, and your kind of CV seems to be getting bigger by the day.
Yeah, I think I try not to look back really on my journey too much, because I think I've got such a long way to go. I think you see people, maybe they win English schools and they start looking back on their journey and think, wow, I've made it. When I think at the point you start looking back too much is the point you'll stop progressing. I think even though Mo said it's important that he wish he didn't take stuff for granted, maybe I think he wouldn't have achieved all those medals if he didn't if he wasn't always focused on pushing for the next thing. And yeah, I think I try not to look back on what I've done too much and focus more on what's to come.
I was about to say, like, being on the stage there with Mo and Chris Thompson, of course they're at the latter age of their careers. What
Yeah.
do you make of the advice that they kind of gave you for the marathon, and actually kind of the words that they said to you, that they really they believe that you can be amazing over the distance in the future as well?
Yeah, it's really kind of them, to have such nice words about me, and it's surreal to him. More Farah is even talking about me, considering I've seen him on telly when I was younger and stuff. So it was a bit crazy, but yeah, try not to it is very nice, but then at the same time I still have to go and train really hard and work really hard, and just because they said good things doesn't mean good things are going to come. You still have to go and go and achieve them and get them. So yeah, it's lovely, but I need to I think maybe see footballers like Dele Alli and to hear everyone praising them, and then a few years later they're playing in Turkey. So yeah, I don't want the same for me.
I was about to say, you paced London, of course. So how do you kind of view, actually, you've got the experience of the route and the circuit as well. How's that going to help you? I guess if you're a bit of a visual learner as well, is that going to pay dividends to you in the race? Yeah,
I think just pacing it a couple of times, it's definitely a big benefit. I just learning about the whole weekend and about the logistics of such a big event, and what I need to do with food, travel, just everything. You just sort of learn little things and stuff the first time you might not consider, and just something happens and you realise you just have to make small amendments. So I think that's a big advantage coming here now, and also learning the course and especially there's big downhill after a couple of miles, and just I think you learn sort of how to run it a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously I haven't run the whole course. Well, maybe with combining with mini marathon and the pacing 30k the first year, I've run a good percentage of it.
I was about to say, if you get a pace in mind, I know you mentioned about being as aggressive as possible but conservative and not doing anything silly. Have you got a pace in your head?
I do and I don't. It depends on the pace groups, and I think it also depends on the pacemakers as well, as to which is the best group for me to go with. I'm in good shape, so I think that it gives me the luxury of being a bit maybe more flexible, but at the same time, I don't want to aim for anything too much and have a bad experience, but then I want to do myself justice and run a good time also. And
just finishing off then, what would be a successful London Marathon for you? Is it a time? Is it just the way that you'll be able to learn from the race? I know you mentioned Valencia kind of in December might be a target as well. What would kind of be a dream London Marathon for you?
Well, I've dreamed about winning, but obviously it's not going to happen. But I think obviously the faster you say is the more like the more of a dream it would be.
Yeah.
But you have to be realistic, and I think when you cross the line, you know you've done your very best. That's all a runner can ever ask for. So that would be my dream, really, to finish and think I really gave it a good go, and that was my best on the day.